The following live broadcast is rated ESV PG. How y'all doing? We're doing our open forum show tonight, so it's going to be anything you want to talk about, okay? So if you got something on your mind you want to discuss, we're here to discuss it with you. At least I am. We're missing some panelists at the moment, but they'll be in here shortly. So if you want to talk about anything, let me know, and that will just cover some things that are going on in the news and the media and everything like that. So we'll see you in a moment. Enjoy.
Love is everywhere. Love is everywhere. Where you go, I'm there. Together, always together. Together, always together.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Keith Liffin here for Ear Shoulder Voice in our open forum show where we talk about whatever you want to. Today, I just want to let you know, I know one of the topics on everybody's mind is like guns and stuff with what's going on right now. We are probably not going to discuss that with this show. We have made this its own show coming up on Wednesday because we think that's a bigger topic. Elena is here. Elena says hello. Hello, Elena. How you doing tonight? All right, but we of course have to have panelists. We finally got panel members to show up. I was shaking in my shoes for a minute, so here we are. Please welcome Bill to the scene. Bill's hand. How you doing, Bill?
Give me 1 second. I gotta find some headphones.
That's fair. That's fair. We'll mute you for the moment until you got that. All right, so what we got here, I want to talk about a few things. The first thing I'm going to bring up actually has nothing to do with anything. We talk a lot of times on this show about what you can do to help yourself feel better and make yourself happy. Well, I did something recently. I got myself a new mattress, a new bed. I actually bought it. This is not an endorsement because they haven't told me anything, but it's from Big Fig. It's designed for bigger people. My life has changed from that mattress. Literally, it supports in ways I can't imagine. I no longer wake up sore. I no longer wake up angry. So if you ever find yourself struggling to move in the morning and struggling to make things happen for you, a new mattress may be the key. A good night's sleep can help you so much. My mental state is better when I'm waking up. I find myself just energized, ready to do things. I don't creak to the bathroom anymore. I get up and literally walk. And it was hard. I've never found a mattress that supported a bigger person like myself, and the Big Figure really does. There's other companies out there that do too. So I cannot tell you how much of an impact on my life it had on that. So we're going to have Bill here in 1 second as soon as he gets his headphones working on there. So what's on your mind? Anything you particularly want to talk about, please let us know right now in the chat, and we will talk about it with you. I also want to take a moment to say Happy Pride Month to everybody out there who is celebrating Pride this month. It's very important to a lot of people on there, but I also want to discuss Pride a little bit because I have a lot of friends who are not straight, who would typically support Pride and stuff like that, and I'm finding they are not happy. They are not happy with what's happened with Pride lately and how it's gotten out of control. Elena, thank you very much. It is. I cannot tell you how much that bed makes a difference for me. Every night, I don't want to sleep in another bed. A new mattress is everything in the world. Bill's frozen right now, but he's going to be here in a moment. I'm going to move him. There he is. Bill, how you doing? He is not.
I'm doing all right. But headphones aren't working.
That's fine. We can do it without headphones tonight, Bill. If you need to. I'll just put your cancellation on. We're good. So yeah, it's a little. We got two more panelists coming in. Everybody happens to be late today, so we will be getting to them on there. But Pride Month, Pride means a lot to a lot of people, and one of the things that I've found though is for me, it's gotten a little out of hand now, and I do support the community besides because I'm somewhat part of that community out there. But a lot of people in the community I've also found think it's ridiculous the lengths of which they've gone. An example, I have a friend, we'll call him a brother, and he works at a company that I don't want to name right now, but one of the things they made them do in Pride Month, right at the start, was they made all the employees take a break, go out to the pride flag they hung up, put their hand on the heart, and salute the flag. The pride flag. And even the gay members that were there said, this is ridiculous, this is too far, this is putting us on the open. And this is what is happening, I think, with a lot of groups that are going to the extreme to try to make everybody happy. They're not realizing who they're hurting in the process. Bill, do you hear everything? Is everything good right now?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So, Bill, did you hear what I was talking about with Pride Month?
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we get into that, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right now.
You're doing all right, guy. You made it home. You got everything in. It's hard to get people on here sometimes in the summer because there's so much going on. People are just having fun as they're going out. And
I have a commitment every Sunday, and I get out by 6:30, but traffic, counts on the situation. So
Yeah, and my commitments afterwards, so that's why our Sunday shows are shorter. 'Cause we got to get
yeah,
them in and
right.
get them out. So, how do you feel about the pride thing? Do you think at all it's gone too far? I do support pride. I think it's right that people have pride for who they are. But what about,
It,
has it gone too far? Most people I know, even at the bar, I have like tables of gay people that are like, I don't like what pride's become.
I've
And
seen stuff where, unfortunately, they, like you were saying, something about they go out to the flag and stuff. They during Pride Month, they have once a week. It's dress up in rainbow colors and stuff at their work, and they've actually telling their employees that they have to do this instead of making it an option.
an option I could actually see having that day if people want to. But
Right.
I don't understand making people do this. Is it any different than when people used to complain about prayer in school, making people who don't believe in something or forcing people to celebrate Christmas or other holidays or Hanukkah over, based on their religious beliefs? Is this any different?
It's not. I mean, there's so many things. Like I said, just like you said, with the religion thing, and even and I hate to say this and stuff, but the Pledge of Allegiance and stuff like that, making these kids get up and do stuff like that and everything like that, it's it's not right. I don't think it's right anyway. So
The Pledge of Allegiance was a good example for that too. That's something for us. People used to fight about prayer in school and having to say the Pledge of Allegiance and everything like that. Which, agreed, I have personally have a problem with the Pledge of Allegiance just because the first line of the Pledge of Allegiance, "No child should have
hmm
to do," but
right.
at the same time, they fought so much to fight it. Now they're saying you have to do this. And I don't know who we have watching in the gay community or anything like that. What is your opinion on it? I know. What about your friends, Bill? I know you have a lot of gay friends. I said it this time, so I don't have to drink. But
I
you
just
have a
drank.
lot. But you have a lot of gay friends as well. How do they react to this?
Everyone's different. My I have one of my goddaughters is she's gay, and she's because of her size and everything like that, they've always looked at her different and everything like that. But she still has the whole thing. I mean, she's happy with who she is, but she also has a situation where what they're doing in the communities and stuff like that, and going around and everything that's going on, they're pushing stuff to such an extent that they, just like downtown Detroit, they had to triple their security down there because of afraid of what was going to happen, because stuff gets out of hand too.
I've heard. I don't know if any of your friends feel like this that are part of the gay community, that they feel they're kind of singled out, and it actually gives them a bad name, for what they actually stand for, as far as sometimes the flamboyancy, how far out they go, that they're giving their own community, which they are a part of, they give them a bad name and don't make them comfortable to be part of that community.
Well, see, the young lady I was talking about, most of her friends are men, and it has to do, like I said, she's 6'1", she weighs 210 pounds, she's a big girl, and most of her friends are men, and they're weightlifters and bodybuilders type stuff like that, and the people that she hangs around with that are gay, they kind of shy away from her. They shun her a little bit, saying you're not totally embracing who you are. And she says, "Well, I go out with women. What else can I do?" Type of thing. So
Yeah, the one thing I've always heard the argument that you used to have against the gay people in the straight community and the gay community was, you're born that way, you're not born that way. You are who you are. You're supposed to be who you are. Well, the way you dress and forcing other people to do that, or the way you act, is not supporting that you're born this way. You should be able to act however you want and like whatever you want. And I think she gets caught in that too. And I've definitely seen arguments among even gay people that, like you just said, you're not embracing who you are. You are not who you should be. You can do this. Like,
mhm.
that's forcing someone to be who they're not. The one thing this community never wanted people to do. A little feedback there. Elena's here. Elena says her sister-in-law just graduated high school a few weeks ago, and they made us all say the Pledge of Allegiance at her commencement ceremony. It was so weird. And I mean, when I grew up in school, we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. That was normal. To the flag of the United States of America, blah, blah, blah. And I agree. And when I was young, it didn't bother me as much. But definitely as I got older, I'm like, why are you having kids when they're in their primary education state learning to pledge allegiance to a country? Allegiance is just something I don't think kids should do. So
When
I
you're that
agree
young,
with
you
that.
don't understand.
You don't think
You
about it
don't
until you get
understand.
older. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't
But
understand, and you don't know what's going on. So
but the adults that make you do it do know.
yes.
All right, so that's good on that. Anybody else have any thoughts on Pride and what they've been going through and how they do you have your own opinions on that? Connie is here. Connie says I'm here now. Glad to have you here, Connie. Definitely glad to have you back on here. So let's talk. Atlanta's here as well. I love my country. I never understood why you need to make a pledge every day. Honestly, I think the pledge needs to be done when you register to vote or become a government employee. Oh my God, that is brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. It should be. That's when you're truly, even if you're doing the military or something like that. That is something where I think the Pledge of Allegiance could go, and I think it'd be appropriate. But you're right. Never understood why you need to make that pledge every day. And it's weird that people will fight, not you, obviously, you're not fighting for it, will fight the Pledge of Allegiance. And people will always argue, especially when politics are involved, of USA, 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 and I love my country and all that. But how can you do that when you hate half of the people out there? And right now in our world, we do. We're in a society where a lot of people just hate half of the country at all times, which gets ridiculous. And it led, Lana says, docs, nurses, cops take oaths when they sign up. If you're going to partake in government business, you should pledge your loyalty. I do agree with that. I think that's a great way and a great place it belongs. But as far as I know, they don't do that. They don't do it when you're going into these fields. And I think that is a brilliant, brilliant take on it. And speaking of which, we were talking about the country and the issues with the country back and forth, and people hate the other half. Recently, we've had Bill just disappears on me. Recently, we've had,
I'm here.
the hearings have started over the January 6th event. Lana says, thank you. I have a few good ideas every now and then. You definitely do. You definitely do. I look forward to them every week, too. On there. The January 6th hearings again, and I have heard most people like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see this, etc. Where have we gone in society right now that Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, two big celebrities, was on everybody's feed, everybody's post, everybody watched it, but then something that actually does concern the country itself and this place you love so much, it's something I'm just going to dismiss because I don't need to know the truth. Where do you think we've gone with that, Bill, or anybody in the chat? Jacqueline's here, says she's watching. Glad to have you here, Jacqueline.
All right, Big Mouth, say something. Seeing as how you're on here now watching. Sorry, that's my niece.
Well, I was hoping it just wasn't a random person you called Big Mouth. That's my job to insult him.
No, that's Big Jack. So, like I said, she has definite opinions about everything in the world. So,
Well, I'd definitely love to hear her opinion on this. So how do you feel about it? How can you explain or can you understand the way that the media, or I'm sorry, not the media, but the people cared so much about Amber Heard, Johnny Depp? There was no shutting up everywhere. And then this, I don't care about this. This just involves the government, whether it's true or not, conspiracy against government, the democratic system, all that. Whether it's true or not, wouldn't you want to know that information more than, oh my God, is Amber Heard going to be in Marvel movies?
you had a whole bunch of people, they were Johnny Depp fans from the Pirates movies and stuff like that. And they heard way back whenever she started this, and she did the, I don't know where it was, I can't remember, but her defamatory tweet or whatever it was, or column that she put up or whatever, and then he went after her because of that. As soon as that came up, they started killing his career right away. They canceled him off of everything. The only thing he's got going on TV right now, I think, is an ad for a new cologne.
They got rid of everything on there. And I get that, but that's a celebrity. How come everybody is downing these January 6th events and the hearings for this, which would lead to hopefully, an actual trial. It's like a preamble to a trial, in a sense, whether they should push charges. And I don't care if they do or don't. But why does this not matter? Shouldn't this
Did you
matter
watch?
more than anything?
Did you watch any of them on TV the other night, Keith?
There's only been one so far, and I watched the Thursday one. Yes.
Well, they were on different channels. That's why I'm asking. So
Yeah, I watched it actually on the YouTube. I don't remember who I was watching it through, but it was a YouTube link to the live.
So did you learn anything that you didn't know already,
Oh, a hell
or
of
you
a
hadn't
lot.
heard already?
Yeah, I did.
See
A
now,
lot.
okay, so you say you learned stuff from watching that. All
Mhm.
right. How much have you followed it in the news, and how much have you watched it since it happened?
Not a whole lot since then. I'll be tuning in Monday again.
Yeah. See, now I followed it, I watched it, and everything like that. And I mean, I like I said, you know me. I tell you, I don't talk about politics or religion and stuff
Right.
too much. But I learned nothing from that so far. I hope more comes out and stuff that's going to be a little bit something different that I haven't known already too. So
Well, I'll say they did show the footage on there, and my heart dropped much more than I had seen the footage in the past, which were small clips and
yes.
stuff. With everything they showed, it was definitely a jaw-dropping moment. And this is not really on. I know the hearings are about former President Trump, but it's more about the people that made my heart drop. That people went to this length, this degree, out of unhappiness, and from what I understand, peaceful people. And what's worse is you have certain stations hiding these events. People deserve truth, whether they agree with it, whether it was right or not. It shouldn't be hidden. People deserve the truth. They deserve to see this stuff on there in the actual footage. Elena says, I agree. It's gross that people don't care about a domestic terror attack. Very strong words on there. But in a sense, it's exactly what it was. It's this. The former president only has to do with possibly his aspect is inciting and causing it, and that can be up for debate, and people can do what they want with that information. But the people did that, which does make it kind of a domestic attack, or it is a domestic attack, and nearly a terrorist attack. Thrasher says we should always keep January 6th in our hearts. It's National Take Down the Christmas Tree Day, even though I want to keep it up until Easter. Let's take down something else in 2021, but yeah, we should. Ashley says, "How trusty is what you see and hear in any kind of media?" I don't. I do think that a lot of the media is biased. Personally, I don't know how Bill feels about this, and whether the media channel supports my side or doesn't support my side, I feel the same way about them. Most of them are very sided. But when you have a lot of video footage out there, like I said, I learned more. And my anger, actually, because of these hearings, my anger did turn more towards the people involved than it did the side, the side, whether it be Democratic or Republican. It was the people. It was just, oh my God. At least watching the footage, because it was footage I had never seen before. How do you feel about that, Bill?
Well, I'm kind of with you because of the fact that you have to look at it, because you've got media reporting on something, and yeah, every who the station manager is or every who's in charge is saying we're going with it at this angle. So they're going to show you from that angle what they want to show you and stuff. So you need to just look at it from your own point of view, not go with it. And that's why I watch different reports on it and everything from different areas, because that way you get your own better perspective of everything. So,
And I think that's fair. So, Ashley, my question for you is, how do you feel about trustworthiness in the media? Where do you turn to try to get facts? Don't do that, Bill. I really want to know.
Are you going to be able to read 4 pages on here?
I have before. Remember, Thrasher's on here, and we've read a lot from Thrasher before too.
I'm just telling you, like I said, these girls all got my opinions, kind of. So.
That's fair. That's fair. But I still want to hear about it. I do still want to hear about how do you feel? Where do you feel is a good place to get this? I am one of those people that I don't necessarily listen to the media, but I am a believer in footage. And I know footage can be altered in today's world, but I mean, just being realistic, it's not something most people have the extended time to do, especially when you're seeing stuff as it happens. For a lot of it, we did. But I'm curious where you would find your source for truth, because it's really hard to distinguish from the media companies because they're always going one direction or another. Thrasher says, I remember a time when radical was something you said while eating pizza. I fucking love me some turtles. There are radicals attached to everything being overly absorbed in anything isn't healthy. And this kind of, we talked about the pride thing. Here, it's overly absorbed and anything isn't healthy, and that people are going too far on it. And it's the same thing here. They're giving bad names to groups and sides and people. And this is where I think our biggest issue comes in, is while you're fighting most of the people on your side, whether we're talking about the Pride Month from earlier, we're talking about the left or the right, don't agree with the actions people take. I do lean more towards the left sometimes, but I hate what a lot of the extremist left does. I have a few views that I definitely side with the right, but I hate what the extremists do. And they make everybody bad there. And then with social media like Facebook and stuff like that, what happens is you attack everybody for what few people do. And people hate anybody. If you supported the right or you supported Donald Trump, you attacked every single person for the actions of very few. And if you didn't and you supported Biden, which God knows Biden sucks too, but you attacked the views of everybody just because of which side they went. And that is where our problem is coming in, is we cannot let people be individuals. We cannot let them have a personal opinion or a vote or anything like that without attacking them and making them feel terrible. I'm going to bring our next panelist. Please welcome back Gabriel. Gabriel,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm actually fantastic. Glad you're here. Anthony will not be making it tonight. He was planned on it, but he will not be making it. So how have you been, Gabriel?
Been good. Just getting out and enjoying the weather.
I know. I was just telling Bill, I said it's sometimes hard to get panelists and stuff like this because the weather is so nice outside.
Yeah.
And you just want to do things and enjoy it, and I completely agree with that. Where was I here? Did you catch any of what we were talking about so far?
No, I was running late, so I just.
Okay,
I
I'll catch you up.
literally
First,
just
we
hopped
talked
on.
about Pride Month going like way overboard and how some people, even people in that community, disagree with what they've done with Pride. And now we're into the January 6th hearings, and we were really talking more, not about the hearings, but why did Amber Heard, Johnny Depp matter so fucking much?
Right.
But something concerning our country and democracy did not.
Yeah.
Does not.
That's
And-
kind of. It's more of an example of where this country's going to instead of. I think that's the bigger question. When that is the important thing, and nobody tunes in for, including people of Congress and Senate, don't bother to tune in.
No, they
To
don't
find
want to.
out. Sure.
But it's something like we were talking about too, when particular media outlets don't even broadcast it. And I don't understand that. I get you're protecting your side, but I also, that's what people are there for. They want news from you. They don't want you to hide things you disagree with. They want to be able to make their own informed decisions.
Yeah. But it's strange because you can see the psychology of what's happening in today's events and things like that, where everybody's questioning, oh, why is this happening? Why are there so many shootings? Why are there so much violence? And all of these things. And I mean, you just have to look at the behaviors of ourselves in sort of these chat rooms and things like that, constantly bickering and going after each other without having to worry about the consequences, and then also that's carried over onto politics and all the way up to the top, where extreme blaming is the par for the course then.
And we are, I mean, like I've said since the beginning of even the show, and I said it before, it's a blame game.
Yeah.
We always want someone to blame. And unfortunately, everybody is telling us who to blame instead of letting us make our own informed decision. And that's why I thought the hearings were important. For anybody who was interested or disagreed, or just because it was, regardless, it was an attack on the country. It was not peaceful. It was not tourists standing around. It was legitimately an attack. Even if you don't support it, even if you support that side but don't agree with what they did, that's what it was.
Right.
And I did watch the first. I was telling Bill I did watch the first one, and it opened my eyes to a lot of things, including, people who knew what was going on.
Right.
It showed a lot of stuff I had no idea about.
Sure.
And I think it would be good for people to be able to draw their own decision. Jacqueline says, after watching and listening to everything, I am ready to go back to the Inquirer. I agree. The Inquirer, I actually agree. Sadly enough, that would be minor news nowadays. Like, that would be, oh, yeah, we know that. Oh, space alien, baby, we're cool with it. Yep, I believe it. Trust me, you've seen the shit going on. I'm going to take the Inquirer.
Bring back Batboy. That's right.
Atlanta says the vast majority of lefts and rights are very civil with each other, which is what I mean. And when you and it's kind of a snowball effect. When you go on your social media and you post how the left all sucks or the rights all suck or anything like that, now people who were civil feel directly attacked, even if you're only talking about that small group. And anybody on this panel or anybody in the chat, have you ever felt that someone was actually attacking you, talking about this to the point you had to respond, or just it angered you, even if you didn't respond to them?
Sure.
Like any examples or anything like that?
No, I didn't know if Bill wanted to talk. I haven't heard him talk yet. No, I mean, there's so many. It's the way that this is going. Everybody's passing the blame at each other, and all of these cases, as far as what you see in news and everything like that, it's all extremism. It's either extremism from the far left or from the far right, and most people are common sense. Sort of, they believe in humanity. They try not to hurt people. They think it's wrong, whether you're left or right, and they ideally want everybody to be happy. But they're also busy trying to maintain their whole lives by themselves, and they're moving on. They don't necessarily have the ego requirement to be that picket line, to be that debate, or be that loud voice that you hear so many times from the far left or for the far right. And we're letting them, for better or worse, all of the sane people are letting the crazies.
Well, they're turning
loose.
these people. They're turning these sane people and these people who believe in the middle ground, really. And they're turning them against it. I mean, honestly, I've become more angry at a person at certain groups just on everything that flows by in the way I felt attack on certain issues. Like, we don't feel that way. Not everybody feels that way. And he says it's the Atlanta says it's the outliers, and that's what sells commercials.
Exactly.
Which is true. That's what it is. Do you think it would be beneficial at all for this country if we stopped attacking the other side and started attacking the extremists on our own side?
Well, I think there needs to be legislation to sort of get funding out of, stop promoting or making lies profitable.
Oh, it appears I was wrong. We have a special guest actually joining us. He is on here. Please welcome back Anthony.
There he is.
Hello, sorry for being late.
That's okay. I thought you weren't going to make it, so glad to have you here.
I didn't think I was going to make it either, but, things change. So what'd I miss?
Okay, well, we talked about Pride briefly.
Everything.
You missed
You
that.
missed it all.
No, we still got quite a bit. I said I got a new bed and love it. Aside from, yeah, the big fig. Oh my god, it's fucking amazing. It's designed for fat people, which I love, and I wake up feeling great every damn day. I jump
like
out
the
of bed to go to the
tagline
bathroom
on it, too?
practically.
Is that what
I'm
you were
telling
talking about when I first came on? You were talking about a new
Yeah.
bed?
Yeah, I got a new
I thought-
mattress, and I never
I
realized
thought
how
you-
big of a difference it would make.
Wow.
I thought you were starting a sex show without me. I was like, hot damn, here we
That's
go.
why you jumped on so quick. That's why you jumped on so quick.
Talking about beds, he's like, whoa, hey.
That's why you jumped on so quick on there. So we were talking about that, which is amazing because I never had one. And now we're currently talking about, it's January 6th talk right now, and the fact that we're having the hearings on here, Anthony. And we started the conversation with saying, why was Johnny and Amber so important and posted everywhere, and everybody couldn't take their eyes and stop talking about it, but yet something that directly does involve the country, democracy, etc., regardless who's at fault, why does that not matter to people? a lot of people are boycotting. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to see this. Shouldn't the truth matter?
Yeah.
And actually seeing, even if you disagree with what some people say, it's out there. And that's what brought us into this, and we'll be hitting a few more topics. We were talking more extremes. Atlanta had brought up about the extremists being the problem, which we agree as well. And I'll ask your opinion on that. What do you think in general about the hearings? Let me...
The hearings. I don't know much about them. I haven't heard much because I'm still
That's-
only seeing Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And
That's
I feel like
exactly
that,
my point.
that might be by design of some people. Like, hey, let's keep this going so we can kind of put important stuff under the rug a little bit.
I agree. I'm going to get back to some more comments here as we continue here. Ashley says Elvis for president. Yes. Uh-huh. The sad thing is he's dead and he'll do a better job.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
It does seem
He's
that
an
way.
old man, but he's not dead yet.
But I think it's ironic that everybody puts so much control. Like the president is end all be all of everything that's going on in this country,
I was
when it
about to
has
hit that, too.
everything to do with more or less the Senate and Congress
Yeah.
making.
Yeah, but
all
it's
of
a lot
these
easier to
decisions.
blame just one person
Right.
than a group of people.
But that's why people, they go back and forth and stuff like that. When, everybody's personally affected by their states and by the areas that they're living in. And those decisions are directly made by all of their constituents in that area. And on top of that, their representatives for Congress and Senate. That is what is affecting your life the most,
Yeah.
Everybody
Well-
goes... Sorry.
And the sad thing is most people don't even go and vote except at once every 4 years.
Again, I
Right,
think
most people
that's
don't
by
care about
design.
midterms or anything like that. They just
Yeah.
do the 4 years, and for a long time, people stopped even doing that. People didn't care. That's one thing the last two presidencies have done for us is they got people out to vote, which I think was very important. That
Yeah.
people started to pay attention to voting, and regardless of the outcome, I think that was huge to get people to vote.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say they're paying attention. I feel like both elections was more, I'm going to vote for this person because I like this person, not
They
anything
may-
to do with, policies and things.
See, I partly disagree because I think they were paying attention. They may not have been paying attention to the right thing, but for the first time, people were kind of involved. They may not have gotten the truth, either side. May
Yeah.
not have gotten the truth of what they were looking for, but at least they were trying, and now they've got to learn. It's a teaching process that, hey, there's truth behind what you're seeing. Go in and delve into some of that. Everybody blames, you're right about the blaming one person, though, and blaming the president, regardless who it was. And don't get me wrong, for 4 years, Trump was to blame for everything.
Yeah.
And now Biden is to blame for everything, and neither one was truly to blame for everything. People are always saying, well, where's your list? What did Biden do? What's so great? You all voted for him. I see this on Facebook all the time. So how come you're all silent? Because I am grateful we have a new president that made people normal again, as far as on Facebook and social media, because we don't have to say everything that happened is everyone's fault and everything. You're still seeing it, but not as bad as you did for 4 years. But as a president, he's a president. He sucks like everybody else.
Yeah.
And he always has, and so have other presidents in the past, and we just shut up about it, get through our lives. If there's something big, we talk about it. But now people are looking to blame for everything that happens. I'm going to get through these comments. I'm going to get more to that blame thing as we talk about the economy and gas prices and stuff like that coming up.
Well,
We
gas
did
prices.
mention gun control on here at the start of the show. I did say I know gun control is a big thing in the topics right now with the shootings and everything happening. We're going to try to avoid talking about it in this show because Wednesday is going to be strictly focused on gun control. Not gun control, but gun laws and how people feel about it. So let's get to some of these comments. Connie says, media is screwed up and the public made it that way. I cannot disagree more with that statement.
Correct.
Or I'm sorry, I cannot agree more with that statement. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. I cannot disagree with you at all. Because it is the public, because news media, especially with the advent of cable news media, is all based on getting people in, like CNN and breaking news for every story, which, by the way, they've decided to pull back on. They think it sends the wrong message.
Really?
Yep, they said they're not going to start doing the breaking news thing, which is very smart. which is good for a change, but that's what it is. It's all about getting people involved. Nobody cares about your basic little stories. They want stuff that... It's an audience, like an action movie. Yes, Gabe? Did you raise your finger up because you wanted to say something? No? Okay, just checking. Can you hear me, Gabe? Gabe? Hey, Gabe. I don't think
twice
Gabe
if you
can hear us. He's not even talking, so he can't. All right, so I don't know what happened, but we lost Gabe for a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, now we hear Gabe.
I heard him.
Technical issues, man. Technical.
It happens. Atlanta, going back to the her depth thing. As a victim of spousal abuse, the topic piqued my interest, Thrasher says. I'm still married to my son's mom because I'm afraid the old mentality would give her my son, even though I couldn't watch it because it brought up depressed feelings. For the first time in a long time, men can be a victim. It's not about being a man and toughening up. And I am not saying in any way that I don't agree with that aspect of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. I think it was important to have a man victim of any kind of abuse up on center stage for people to see. What about you guys? How do you feel about that comment?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Johnny Depp for
it
president.
definitely opened a lot of people's eyes to kind of the duality of abuse, right? Because for the longest time, you hear, domestic abuse and things like that, and you think man abusing a woman,
Yes.
and you don't really ever think of women abusing men because most men just deal with it or just man up, quote unquote, and that's not healthy. So I think it was good in that aspect that it did bring light to, hey, not all abuse cases are men abusing women.
Exactly.
And maybe let's not just take everyone's word as gospel.
Agreed. What were you going to say, Bill?
Johnny Depp for president.
Okay, moving on. You know what? He's all weird as fuck, and he's one fucked up individual. But again, look what we've had.
Right?
Definitely not off the table. Alana says, I've been finding a lot of videos of black people becoming conservatives after realizing that Black Lives Matter isn't working. We've talked about that on a few shows, actually, and that's kind of what we're talking about with the Pride thing earlier, too, is it just isn't the same as what it once was. And when they try to educate their own people, they get called names that I'm not allowed to mention. It's almost like excommunication.
Yeah.
And very, very true.
Yeah,
And-
that's a double standard that I notice a lot with that group that has that viewpoint. Is we love everybody, but if you disagree with us, then you're a horrible person.
Yeah.
No
Even
matter
if you're
what,
on our
no matter
side.
what you are.
Yeah.
But if you disagree with us, and even you can be one of us, you can look like us, you can have the same, characteristics, whatever it may be. But if you disagree with us on certain things, you're a horrible person, and we're going to call you names up and down.
Bill, you brought that up a little bit with the Pride thing about that and how they were treating your friends, saying you're not being yourself, you're not allowed to do it too. How do you feel about that?
It's all weird. I mean, you had, so Keith, where I hung out, and most of my friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever had anyone, go against me or anything was I was sitting outside smoking a cigarette, and there was what I consider, I guess, a gay man that was out there, and they, at that point in time, they had little tables out there, and he was sitting across from me. There you go. And he started reaching over, grabbing hold of my hand and grabbing hold of my arm, and I said, hey, please don't do that. And he goes, what's wrong with you? And I said, I don't have anything wrong with me. I said, I just don't like anyone grabbing hold of me, touching me. I said, especially seeing I don't know who the hell you are. And he yelled and said, so you're against gay people, you're against gay people. I said, no, I'm not. I said, you wouldn't believe how I'm not. And we walked into the bar, and I told him, I said, look right here. And, all my friends were right there. And it was all the women sitting right there. 11 of them sitting at 2 tables. And I said, this is who I'm with. And he turned around and he goes, oh, well, then you're just homophobic against guys.
Jesus.
And I
Because
told
you don't
the
want to be
girls
touched?
about-
Right.
And I told the girls about it, and they all went at him. I mean, verbally went at him and said, no, he just doesn't like to be touched by anybody. No one that he doesn't know shouldn't come up and touch him, and blah, blah. And they went off on his ass.
Right.
And his
Good.
friend came over and apologized for him, and I said, you shouldn't apologize for him. I said, he should just know differences in life and be polite to people. and not get touchy-feely with anyone he doesn't know.
You know, a lot of people
And
just
she
don't
tried to
like
tell
to be
me that's
touched.
the way he is. Well, she sat there and told me, well, that's the way he is. I said, he needs to change the way he is, or someone's going to knock his teeth out of his head.
Nobody needs to. In a way, he's got to change that from being, trying to force you to have want something you don't want. I mean, that's the big fight for everybody anyway. That's what all these groups are about anyway. It's the big fight of trying to force people to do things they don't want or be against them and who they are. But it only applies to the person fighting. It never applies to the other individuals.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs to get a whole lot better at respecting each other's boundaries,
Yeah.
If the campaign should be mind your own fucking business.
Yes.
If everybody just did that,
Stay out of my bubble.
That should be that should be a campaign slogan for somebody coming up. Fuck Make America Great Again. Fuck all these other things. Just mind your own fucking business.
We're not going to build back better. We're not going to America great.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that,
Mind your
no.
own business. Leave everyone the fuck alone.
right?
Question, Jackal is asking, why is the little guy with the beard laying down? Hello.
Because I love my recliner.
I don't know if it was you or Bill, because Bill appears to be laying down too a lot of times. That's the way he is. So.
No, she's not talking. I don't have the beard today, so I'm figuring she was talking about Anthony. So.
I think she put that before Anthony popped on. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, then
That's
maybe
why
it's
I'm not
Gabe.
sure.
Anthony's
Gabe
not
doesn't look like he's laying
Anthony's
down,
not a
though.
little guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
None of us are little guys.
Anthony, how tall are you?
Gabe is the
6'4".
smallest. Like, literally, of this group, I think Gabe is the smallest, maybe.
I
Bill,
gotta do this
between Bill and Gabe.
so Jack knows. I gotta know about. So Anthony, you're
6'4".
what? 6'4"?
Yeah, I'm
6'4". How much
6'2".
you weigh?
270.
Hey, Big Jack, he's bigger than you.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I told Keith beforehand. So like she is, and she's big for a woman. So she's 6'1" and weighs like 215, 220 pounds. She's muscle. She's bodybuilder and stuff. So
Yeah,
she's
mine's
my
just fat.
goddaughter.
Fuck off,
No, she's
Brandon.
goddaughter.
Brandon,
Muscle, so-
You're one of
Go-
the only people
Go
we
be
know
taller
that can
than
say
us elsewhere, okay?
that. Right. Few people can say that. And Thrasher says, I just have to say this, that's a lot of sexy facial hair on the screen. I'm secure with my manhood.
That's
How
good.
you
There
doing?
is a lot.
I
Usually you
appreciate
see that in the fucking winter. This is summer. We still have it. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a little flattered, even though I got the most minimal and gray.
It's the many stages.
Back to Elvis, according to Men in Black. Elvis is dead. He just went home. That was a great movie. Ashley says, if you want to make a difference, vote every time and everywhere that affects you. And this, for me, this takes me to something I've always thought we should do, especially when it comes to primaries and preliminaries, is blind elections, where people literally just have the topics they're for and against. Not for the main, because you want to know your candidate at that point. And you literally vote topics. And whichever person running has the most is going to be your first contestant, whatever. Candidate. That's the word I'm looking for. First candidate. And whoever has the second that agrees, regardless of what side, if they're on your topics. That way the people who are in the primaries and our candidates agree with a lot of America, and you might get some real voting done.
Yeah, but then we can't have the popularity contest, Keith.
Exactly, Anthony.
We like to have popularity contests. Come on.
Popularity contests only work when one of them is pretty fucking cool. We don't have anybody that's even a little bit cool.
Yeah, it's the popularity contest of the
It's the prettiest turd.
trash. Yeah.
It's like a book I read in elementary school, The Prettiest Turd.
But realistically, I mean, what should happen is they should have classes mandatory in school, throughout school, that are based on learning how state government works. You know, there are limitations and sort of goes over the broad sort of things, but that is what is going to affect your life the most.
Yeah, but then people would actually be smart and be able to vote all of these idiots out who are lifers.
I trust me.
And they don't want that. So why the hell would they teach you how to vote them out of jobs when they don't want to not have their jobs? They like doing nothing for fucking $100-something thousand a year.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Anthony, or you, Bill, but me and Gabe, I'm pretty sure we went to the same school for a lot of. They taught government, and they taught a lot of that stuff to us. I don't think they teach it anymore.
But not even at a state level, though. I mean, what to me, what would be more important at this point is sort of that. It goes over the basics, like what is the branches of the government, and what does Congress do, and what does Senate do, and things like that. But it doesn't boil down to sort of these city by city forms of government and sort of the things that affect you most. A lot of people complain. One of the biggest gripes I see is Granholm, fix the damn roads and stuff like that, and they have no clue that the only roads that she needs to fix are highways,
Right.
Yeah,
because that's
states.
federal, right?
That's the ones
So
that matter.
if
to
you
them,
live in, say, the city of Warren or the city of Hazel Park, and your roads suck, it's because of your state. It's because of your local representatives
yeah.
and the budget that they have for the individual.
Your city, town,
road.
county, etc. It's all.
But nobody knows that.
I don't often know if they, because I have a hard time believing they don't know that. Honestly, I like to believe that people are smarter than that, but they just
They're not.
No,
Sorry,
because you
they're
get
not.
like in,
It's the
Like in Hazel
president's
Park?
fault. Whoever president
Hazel
is,
Park?
It's the president
It
or the
goes-
governor.
it's the
No, but see,
reason
that's
there's
what
so
I'm
many
saying.
potholes on Mound.
like even with the president. I don't think there are some issues that I do believe they're not aware that isn't handled by the president or the governor.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes they know. I think they just look for that cheap escape route, and like we said, someone to blame. Like they could find out. They think it is. Well, it all comes down to, instead of trying to figure out the ins and outs and actually studying and educating myself with anything, I'm going to just turn to blame them.
Yeah.
You
And that's
know?
why I say they're not smart enough, because they're just looking for the quick person to point a finger at, and they don't want to look into, well, how do the roads actually get fixed?
well, like in Hazel Park here, they call the DPW all the time and say, okay, DeQuinder's messed up. You guys need to fix it. And the city tells them, this is not us. And they tell them, Macomb County is in charge of DeQuinder up and down. DeQuinder's like the roughest road in the world right now, going from 8 Mile to 9.5. Now, from 9.5 to 10 Mile, it's nice and smooth because they built all that new shit over here in Hazel Park. And they're actually supposed to put up another light between 9.5 and 10 Mile, a short light, because the people that had the building built there and everything like that told the city council here in Hazel Park, well, we're going to build here and we're going to do this for you, but we want a stoplight right there so our people can get out of this business and get onto the road without
Giant
having to wait
warehouse?
forever today. Well, the light's still not up, but like I said, from 9.5 to 10 Mile, DeQuinder's smooth on both sides.
No. And it is the fault a lot of times of even my own street. I've got a huge area across the street from me. They had an actual sinkhole, and they took forever to going to fix that. And I have an area like that they patched, and it's nothing like gravel in this huge patch. And I call city, they send me to county, back to city, and it's always a runaround. But it has nothing to do with the state. The state would not care.
No,
They have
and
nothing
that's
to
why
do with it.
with a lot of subdivisions that have the HOA, that's who fixes the subdivision streets,
Mhm.
right? Like
yeah,
I
those
live,
even smaller. Yeah.
I live in Sterling Heights, and my street and everything, the neighborhood is all managed by Sterling Heights. So I had a couple slabs of my sidewalk that had to get replaced. And Sterling Heights sent me a letter in the mail saying, hey, we're going to fix this and we'll send you the bill. Or you can get these fixed, but we marked them, right? And the city of Sterling Heights took care of it.
And then,
I had to pay for it because, whatever, but
yeah,
the city handles all of that stuff.
it's a joke
Well,
that you
that's
got
the
to pay
same thing
for it, but I
down
know what
here.
you mean.
Yeah.
Down here
well,
in Hazel Park, years back, they planted trees between the sidewalk and the street, and you didn't have a choice on it.
Mhm.
All right, you did not have a choice on it. The city wanted to beautify what was going on. Well, you're going to plant a tree between the sidewalk and the curb. All right, that's going to get 16 to 17 inches around.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what's going to happen. First of all, it's going to move up your sidewalk. Second of all,
Into
it's
the
going to
street.
grow into your fucking sewer pipes.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. And we didn't have a choice on that. But when the sidewalk busts and they say you have to replace this,
Mhm.
and they come out and replace it, you have to pay for it, just like you were just saying.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
thing
because
was,
the tree they gave you is your property. They gave you a gift.
Well, no, actually,
Right.
it's not your.
It's a
it's
pretty
not your
tree.
property.
Shut up.
It's not your property because in Hazel Park, I don't know what it is anywhere else, but between the sidewalk and the curb, it is the city's property. But you are supposed to be responsible for
Yeah.
any grass on there, anything goes on, anything like that. And then when they planted the trees, all right, they come through, and when your sidewalk was busted up, you had to pay for it. I've had to pay for it here once since my mother died, and then before that, my dad paid for it twice way back. They will not cut the tree down and not burn it down unless it's diseased, and they have just recently cut down, just this year, 4 trees on this street on my block, but they cut down the trees and they're putting it on your taxes.
Yeah, it's no matter what, they're going to be paid from everything, whether from you as the individual, through the taxes or anything like that. But they are making the money through the taxes. That's why it should be something they shouldn't have to pay you outright like they did with you, Anthony, or anybody else. It's ridiculous. Moving on to some comments. So I've seen men turn down women and the woman not being used to that would be, what are you gay? Oh, okay. Just I've seen men turn down women and so what are you gay? Like they can't fathom that a man isn't always thinking about sex with anything, and anyone. It's happening with other groups too. Yeah, that's what we were talking about a bit earlier. I don't know if you were here for it, and we were talking about that. These small people speak for entire groups because, like you say, they can't fathom that a man isn't always thinking about sex. Now, mind you, as a man, we are a lot of times, but we're not always thinking about it sometimes.
No, and just women in general tend to get away with being able to do things that men would not be able to do in public settings.
True.
Like if you're sitting down singing a song karaoke and a woman just decides she wants to grind on you, that's perfectly acceptable and
I
funny
told you it was a good
and
choice.
entertaining. But if you were a woman singing a song and a man decided to grind on you, that is not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, then that's harassment right there.
Yeah,
But we don't live
that's
in a
sexual
world of double
harassment. But if a woman does that to a man, that's just haha, take it, it's funny.
And a man is automatically supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Why do I
It's
feel
the rule.
this is a real thing?
I don't know. It might have happened last night. I don't know.
Alright.
He actually was at the bar last night and he wanted a song to sing, and I'm like, Pony. And he's like, Pony. I'm like, trust
Oh,
me,
boy.
Pony. It was earlier in the night and he did Pony, and some woman came up and started grinding on him. I said, I told you. And it puts him out of his comfort zone, so I'm happy.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "Why do you want me to?" Oh, never mind. Okay, you're an ass.
I didn't know she was going to grind on you. I just knew
I'm-
they were in the mood to grind.
Yeah. I
Shouldn't
figured
have
they would
said
just
pony.
grind on each other at their table.
Well, some of them did.
Yeah.
Jacqueline says we need a young president again, JFK, and I 100%. Everybody is way
But we
too
see
fucking
how
old.
well
We
that
need a
works
young
out.
government in general.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we need. Yeah. There's so many. There's a long laundry list of things that need to happen when it comes to things like that, like term limits for everybody, and just outlawing the ability to take money from lobbyists. The entire lobbyist sort of, there's too much that needs to be changed in
I
order
would-
to make it good.
I would like to make it to where these fucking politicians get paid a percentage or get paid the average wage in their area.
Oh, that would be
And
awesome.
that's their salary. Your salary is the average wage in the area that you serve.
Or how about
Or the median, right? Whatever it may be. But they should not be able to just go, well, everyone in the economy's taking a shit, so we're just going to vote and give ourselves a 20% raise for inflation.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Or how
what's
about those-
happening.
How about those constituents? Sorry, go ahead.
That's true, though. But you have your political process lets you get money from people to get involved in this stuff and get elected and go your way and stuff like that. And when I try to explain it to some of my friends, which I can't explain the political part of the stuff. And Keith knows I don't talk politics a lot, but I try to explain it. I try to tell him, I said, listen to me. I said, the only thing I can tell you to do, I said, if you want to kind of understand what the hell goes on in your political process in the United States, I said, I'm going to push you back to watch a show. It's a movie called The Distinguished Gentleman, and you see how much they get paid and how much money they take in to go a certain way and which way they're going when they're getting elected.
Oh, it's all about the lobbying and stuff like that too.
Oh, yeah.
It's that money controls it more than anything. Elena says career politicians shouldn't exist, and I do believe, like I thought JFK is a great one. I mean, Bill Clinton had one of the greatest economics growth in our history through his. He was a younger person as well, maybe not young, but younger. Obama may not agree with everything he did, obviously, but he was younger and he had the idealism we needed. And that's the thing, is those politicians would have had to live in the world they created, which I've said before, after they leave. The old ones don't. They're stuck there forever. They don't matter. I think Buttigieg would have been a great choice. I realized that he was, and people didn't like his sexuality or whatever for him, and then they wanted Biden, so everybody else pretty much dropped and said, okay. But again, young, idealistic is what this country needs.
But ironically,
career is an issue.
the most successful politicians or presidents also had the majority Senate and the majority Congress for a long time.
Well, it's because they could pretty much do whatever exactly they wanted.
Right, they can actually get work done, and that's what happens in a lot of these situations. I mean, even when it comes to any of the presidents, you have these battles, and then it gets shut down by, either the Congress or the Senate.
Congress should be 35, 35, 30. It should be 35 left, 35 right, 30 independent.
Yeah.
But then they blame the president. Like, why didn't you fucking do this? Because they said no.
Because you can't. And don't get me wrong, Trump ran into the same blockades.
Right.
Everybody has, because you're in a split Senate, and no matter what, they're not going to let you do what you want, because either they're weak, it's not part of their agenda, they're turned down from their constituents, it doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Back to
Most
learning.
of the time, it's just because it came from the other side.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
So they
it's
have
not
to.
even like those guys. They've got a great idea, but they came up with it, so we can't have
Look at the amount of flack and attention anybody from the Republican Party got if they disagreed, or from the Democratic Party got if they disagreed with their side in Congress. It was ridiculous. It makes it a scary place to have an opinion formed yourself.
Yeah.
Instead of what you're paid to believe and paid to support. Atlanta says, true about government learning in school. We learn about federal government. I had no idea that Georgia had an Air Force. I'm going to be honest, neither did I. I bet most states do. I did not know Georgia had its own
today
Air
years
Force.
old when I learned that.
I was today years old as well.
Okay, maybe I didn't learn everything in government in school. Ashley says, when political people get money from parties that are promoting to go a certain way, it is going to be a fuck up. And that's what it constantly is, because we're run by government. You said earlier, or said it earlier, I don't remember if it was you, Ashley, but that people just need to vote. And that's very true. But we need to get some freaking other parties in here. We need them on the fucking ballot. If you're so unhappy, this is what has dumbfounded me over the last two elections. People said they voted Trump as the lesser of two evils, and they both suck. People said they voted Biden over the lesser of two evils. They both suck. They want to get him out. Don't vote for either and vote for an independent. Let's get somebody else on the fucking ballots. If we're going to be screwed for the next 4 years, either way, let's get some independents on the ballot. Say, Brewster said it about Richard Pryor's Brewster in the movie Brewster's Millions. Vote none of the above. Get somebody else on those damn ballots. That's where your vote's going to make a difference, because if you get them on that ballot, every election in the United States for the future will have that party on the ballot. They will have to be there until you get them. I think it's five. Is it five? Somewhere between 5 and 10%. It was 5%. They need that percentage of the vote. That's not hard to do. Get them on the ballot. If you really think it's two evils, go with another one. Bill does occasionally believe he's coming back. He hasn't said anything, so he should be back in a moment. That's what okay, Elena says adults need to remember to keep their hands to themselves as far as grinding. Well, some of the fun is being touchy-feely. I'm sorry.
I believe it's don't give me no lines.
Keep your hands to
yourself.
yourself. A lot of adults do, but I don't
No
necessarily.
hugging, no kissing. till I get a wedding ring.
I don't always think that that's the true statement either. There are limits for sure, but there's some fun to be had with being able to hug and lean against people and be fun and people not be so offended by it.
If you know that person, you can't
To a
just-
point. Well, no, because I don't think there's a big deal with Anthony singing and it was funny, like you said.
Right, but it goes
It's-
back to Bill's statement, like that guy coming up to him and just getting in his space. Some people just have a problem with space.
Well, there's limits. I mean, a guy on a guy is definitely
You
a
know.
limit in today's world because obviously there are definitely straight guys out there that will react very badly to it. But occasionally there's also stuff in good fun. I don't think it's that people need to keep their hands to themselves. I think they need to listen to what people say when you touch somebody. You know, if somebody comes, I get people on me all the time. You know, they're always leaning up on me, doing stuff, letting me taste their
Yeah.
lunch, whatever it happens to be. And if I say, leave me alone, that should be the end there.
Exactly.
You know, that's where the problem comes in. I don't think
Those
the problem is not
accidents.
touching somebody. It's listening and respecting somebody's uncomfortableness with it. Because not everybody's uncomfortable with it.
Right.
You know?
But and that's the thing is you have to express consent, and that person needs to register whether or not you're comfortable with someone putting their arms on you. Or
Something that
you know,
prior to 15
was-
years ago we did.
because I was asked the other day, I was at up north, and I was saying goodbye to everybody, and I'm friends with everybody up there, and they sort of asked me a question of it. They weren't sure if I was a hugger, when saying goodbye, so they didn't want to sort of overstep those bounds and things like that. And I can appreciate that
Yeah.
because I'm not the one to sort of instigate something like that. I'll give hugs, when I'm saying goodbye to people, but I'm not going to be the first person to do it. I think there's
Right.
a lot of different personality types. Some are more
That's what I mean.
comfortable
It has to be
with
respect. Elena says, I want to go to what you just said. She said, I'm talking about like strangers. I absolutely do not want to be touched
Right.
by strangers.
Yeah.
But when you take that shift away like that, it should somehow register in your mind, oh, this is a person that doesn't like to be touched. Okay, I'm not going to. And not chase or push or anything like that. Let people be individuals. Some people want to touch. Some people, I hug. I'm a hugger. I hug everybody. Some people don't want to be hugged. I learned that. Okay, I step away. I don't hug that person. It's easy.
Yeah.
And it should be to that point because you got to respect other people. I don't think we should all live in a world where we're standing 2 feet apart, making sure we don't accidentally graze against each other.
Leave space for Jesus.
The fuck did that come from?
Put on your white cloak.
Are you doing good, Bill? Jacqueline,
Bill, are you
and
okay?
Ashley want to know.
Oh, no, I think she just saw me walk away coughing, so I'm all right.
I was just saying he steps away sometimes when he does that. Ashley says women get away with stuff because men don't care and, like it or not, don't have the balls to say anything. And in most cases, that is true because of what was said earlier. If you push a woman away, are you gay? That's the comment that comes back.
But
So-
I mean, even in that situation, that's sort of, I don't know. That wouldn't be the case in a lot of situations,
I mean, I had no problem before this became such an issue.
gay or straight.
No, I
Yeah.
know, but that's what women will say if a guy pushes a woman away.
Yeah. Well,
Well, because men like it.
but those women are assholes.
Elena
You know.
says, I want to live in a world where everyone stands 2 feet apart. That sounds amazing. I guarantee you, if you ever get pregnant, that man was well endowed.
It's gonna be Sylvester Stallone and Sandra Bullock sex scene in Demolition Man.
And you know what, Elena? You have a right to want to be in that world, and you're one of the people that don't like to be touched, but not everybody shares that same view. Some people are actually, believe it or not, this is a mental health channel. This is something we often discuss with our topics. Some people look for somebody to initiate that contact. They want that hug. There are people out there that long for somebody to show some kind of physical caring towards them.
That's called guys trolling for whores. So,
We call it the McLean. We call it the McLean effect, right, Bill? I was like,
hey, no last names on here, damn it.
it's in the credits.
John McClane, Die Hard. You remember that part?
Yes.
Elena says her husband's 6'8" now. Is that lying down? Because then your
Wow.
2 foot, then your 2
Whoa.
feet apart thing will really work.
Oh, there
All
it
right.
will.
No, and I think we have to understand that close communication, even physical communication amongst people, it's definitely common in the animal kingdom and amongst people too. Some people need that kind of contact, whether it's just be a hug. No, they don't need you to go up and grab their balls. They don't need you to go and grab their pussy or anything like that. But they do want that comfort of being next to somebody. A lot of people really appreciate hugs. A lot of people really do appreciate somebody sitting putting their arm around them when they're talking to them.
But
Or
those are people
I met
that they know.
I've met people at the bar that just were down.
At least for a couple minutes.
One of the new guys and part of Anthony's group actually was down. I took him, and he said it was amazing that somebody stopped and talked to him, put their arm and just said, "Hey, what's going on, man? You look really depressed." And they love that. They need that. If you live in a world, you're going to have a world where you can't touch each other. You're going to have a lot of people that don't get that. So it is a matter of being able to read and see and understand what somebody wants more than it is just to, oh, I'm afraid to touch you, because we're starting to live in a country of fear of what you say. We are living in a country of fear with what you say, what you do, who you touch, who you go near, anything like that. And I don't think that's a good direction to go. We're talking unity here. There is a difference in sexual groping for sure. But there's nothing wrong with somebody isn't comfortable being hugged, they step away. Somebody is, they let it happen. That's personally. What do you guys think? I'm going to stop rambling on that one. What do you guys think before I get to the next topic?
I agree with everything you just said.
I always like when that happens.
Yeah.
There used to be a bar over on Woodward down at State Fair called Heaven and Hell. It was a gay bar, Keith. So upstairs it was gay, it was heaven, and downstairs it was hell, it was rock and roll. And I took my friends there the one night, and I said, listen to me. I said, we're going to stay down here. I said, everything's fine. I said, don't go upstairs. And they were like, why? I said, because it's a gay bar up there. I said, you're going to go through there? I said, somebody's going to grab your ass, grab your nuts, whatever. I said, it's what happens up there. I said, I'm just telling you. And I said, you have to realize this and understand this. And I said, this is what it is. And of course, we're downstairs and stuff, and there was a heavy metal band playing, and it was great, and everyone liked it. And my one buddy decided to walk upstairs, and he was the one that was stone cold sober. He was the one that was driving us.
Oh, jeez.
And went upstairs anyway. And all of a sudden, you hear a boom, 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 boom. And we go over to the stairs, and he's like down the stairs, halfway down, and the bouncer's got him, pulling him by the back with the shirt. And I was like, what's going on? He goes, he started a fight upstairs. And I asked him, I said, why'd you start a fight? He goes, I didn't start a fight. Some guy grabbed my ass. I said, I told you it was going to happen. Why did you go up there if you didn't want it to happen?
Right.
And he kind of looked at me and was like, so you wanted it to happen? And I aggravated him for a year about it.
Elena's final comment on that was, is no, I agree with you. I just want strangers at least 2 feet away. And Elena, I think with the touching, I think you're kind of a little bit, based on the people I know and see, in a minority in there, but to a limit. Obviously, like we said, the groping, and definitely some people might be more comfortable with grinding or anything like that. But I do think that a lot of people like that touch when they're being talked to. I've known a lot of people just sitting there, and it makes you feel good for a lot of people. It makes them warm.
Human
inside.
contact is good.
Yes.
Yes.
I love hugging my friends and family, but not strangers. Atlanta says, being fat, too, isn't a lot. Very true, Atlanta. I was thinking that when she first said it. I'm like, I'm still going to be touching you.
Just belly to belly.
All right, so we talked about the blame game, and one of the biggest things that everybody's been arguing right now also is gas prices. They are skyrocketing. They are through the roof. They are insane. But everybody is so set on blaming our government. Who here knows that's
even
not
the
how
gas,
it works?
The food is so bad.
We're going to get into the economy from this. Briefly, we've only got a few minutes left, probably about 20 minutes, so we'll hit what we can on it. Who agrees with that it's not our government, and who disagrees with it?
I think there are elements, for sure.
They have a small impact, that's true. But it's a small impact.
Yeah, I mean, there were certain, it's not even about the pipe, certain pipelines getting shut down and stuff like that. It's about going and, I think they try to when you're under certain governments, you try to import gas, as opposed to using our own resources, things like that. But at the same time, in that situation, I think that when you have Republican and you have Democrats, they just turn a dial and they go, well, this is more, and this is a reason why. If they're not blaming it on Democrats, they're blaming it on oil spills or pipeline spills or oil rigs or closing down fracking places. There's always an excuse to spike it right around Memorial Day for some reason.
Yeah, holidays, summers. Yeah,
You
that's
know,
always
right?
been the case. That's always been the case.
But
Not
they're
this
also
level.
making up for it for losing so much in 2020 because they were losing their ass. And my question is, they're talking about demand, right? So they're saying, oh, there's so much demand for it right now. If 20 to 30 to 40% of the workforce is currently working from home, you don't have that traditional driving back to forth using as much gas as you did on a daily basis, for the past millennia. You know, so why is there more demand if there's less people going out?
There isn't more demand. It's just the reason they're using. These oil companies are hiding under the blanket of politics.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want because they know where the blame is going. It's not going to the right place. The war affects gas prices. That's true. But this is not U.S. independent that is affecting gas prices. It is worldwide.
Right.
Every single country is facing extremely high gas prices. And near or above our levels, some below, but very near our levels of gas prices right now. And that is set by other corporations that are not government. Some of the stuff government does can have an impact, but not the worldwide impact of this global war. These gas companies, they blame the Keystone Pipeline, which takes oil from Canada, filters it, and sends it to other countries. That is what Keystone does. For an update for anybody, it doesn't help us at all. But these oil companies have thousands of permits to drill and pull gas from our own country that are unused and ignored, and they are approved permits. They could start any time they want. They're not. Why? Because they're hiding under the shroud of government to raise prices, use the war as an excuse, use anything else as an excuse to get that money. The price per barrel is within cents of what it was in 2004. Was it 2004, 2006, when we had the big gas hike? It has barely changed per barrel, and we're paying these prices. This is not government upping it, and states have, like you said before, states have a lot to do with this too. Mm-hmm. In our own U.S., different states have up to $1.50 difference in gas. More if you go to like California and shit, where it's $7, $8, but $1.50 less than us.
Yeah, some of my gas stations around here, a mile away, are 20 cents apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same
And you,
same franchise.
I'm sorry. And you have to sit there and look at when they make the reports on how much money the gas company has made already this year. Which is way above anything they've made in 9 years.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think it's 28 billion.
And demand has something to do with it, but that's why the price is being raised. It is with demand. Let's face it, in 2020, early 2021, or throughout the whole COVID pandemic, people weren't driving. Of course, gas prices got to get low. They weren't selling it. They didn't need it.
So there should also be a surplus at that point.
Right.
So all of that should just be here, and I don't know.
No, but you're right.
There's
Let me read
There's
this
always
comment.
supposed to be a contingency plan. Always.
There should be. There is, but they don't care about that. That's what
Yes.
those permits they have are for. They could cover
When
it.
you work for the big three and everything like that, you have to have a contingency plan before you get approved for anything, and gas companies are the same way.
No. Well, they're like I said, those things are all approved. They're ready to go. These companies could, like that, start drilling if they wanted to. They could pull our oil. Before I get to you, because I want you to I'm sure you have an opinion on this, Anthony, but I want to read this because from our previous conversation. So as Amber Heard lost everything, really started jumping, did she have contact with somebody? LOL. And I think that was back to our contact with people. I don't know. She obviously did very close physical contact. So
Allegedly.
allegedly. So, what was your opinion? What is your opinion on that, Anthony? With
It's all
the gas?
fucked.
Yeah, but where do you think the involvement really
Very
lies? Do you think
scientific
people
of
are
it.
using it as an excuse to say this president sucks? Just they were using it for an excuse to say the last one was good.
So
Same thing.
they're using it to say this president sucks, and they have kind of a decent spiel to go along with it,
Yeah.
right? Just because this presidency and this side is pushing for EV, right? And they're pushing for to go straight, get rid of gas and do that. So it's very easy right now for everyone to go, well, it's just the politicians and it's the government because they want you to buy electric vehicles. So they're going to raise the gas prices, even though they don't really have that ability to just go, hey, gas
Right.
prices are higher now.
That's what people
But that's
aren't
what
seeing.
people are saying. Oh, they want you to drive electric cars, so they're making gas outrageous, so you can't afford it, and you buy an electric car. But
You would think when that is the biggest issue affecting everybody, if the president had that power, regardless, that would be the one thing they take care of and want to fuck us over everywhere else. Because that's instant re-election. You drop gas to $2 a fucking gallon or something like that or lower during this time, everybody's going, yeah, Biden's approval rate is going through the roof.
yeah,
Like, 'cause
I
he
don't,
did
I
it.
don't know if his approval
There's
rating
still-
would ever
there's
go
still
through.
not
the
enough-
roof.
Well,
There-
from where
there-
it
It might
is, from
jump
where
up.
it is,
It might jump
from
up to
where
like
it is.
50%.
There is
But
still
people
not
focus on
enough-
one thing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Still not enough recharge stations in the United States. So, like where
Yeah.
I'm at, and
We
going
don't
to
even
Western
have a
Kentucky,
strong enough power grid. They're already
I can't even
talking
go-
about doing rolling
I
brownouts
cannot
and
drive to
blackouts.
Western Kentucky. I cannot drive to Western Kentucky to get to where my family is with an electric car that runs out, I think it was 220 miles per charge.
Yeah.
I can't get there and get down to Western Kentucky before my car dies. Because there's not enough charge stations going down through the
Right,
highway.
they haven't perfected the vehicles enough to mass market them. It's no different than, Elena says gas is expensive because a handful of companies that control the market make more money by charging more, which is exactly how business works. It seems like it should be more complicated, but it's not. And you're right, it's that
it's-
fucking simple, and
very
people are trying to put
straightforward.
it somewhere else. You hate the gas prices? I absolutely do too, but they're not controlled by one entity. They're controlled by all the corporations selling it.
No.
And with what's going around in the world, it's not our push to the Green New Deal or clean energy or anything like that that is making every other country say, let's raise our prices too to help the U.S. No.
Well, and the thing is, right, respectively, we still have some of the cheapest gas prices globally.
Yes.
Like, super fucking cheap compared
That's
to
why
other
it says
countries.
some are lower, but many are way higher than us.
Right. I mean, our gas prices now are still cheaper than, like, when I was in Germany 6 years ago.
Yeah.
The gas prices we're paying now are cheaper than 6 years ago over there.
Yeah.
But we also are a country that has poor mass transit systems to sort of alleviate some of that, And these companies make it worse for, that's why pharmaceuticals are less in certain countries versus ours, and gas is more expensive in certain other ones because there's less used over there because mass transit is more popular, or else they're using more compact cars, better gas efficient vehicles, things like that. So they're just making up for where they need to make up and get that profit.
And I believe that. I've never been to these other countries. Anthony, you have. But a lot of the photos and videos I see of these, anytime looking at the country, I see a lot more people on bicycles, a lot more people walking, a lot more people doing things that us, as a very unhealthy country, don't do.
Yeah.
There
Well,
are
and
many
just-
other forms of transportation that they use and utilize that we just do
Public
not.
transit over in Europe is amazing.
Yeah.
In every city, every town, there's a train station.
You always see those
There is-
running in
you-
the streets. In
you-
any,
You cannot go to a town or a city that does not have sort of train station.
Right.
So you don't need a car.
Yep. You can get wherever you need to.
do you think there's any hope in the future of it going down? I mean, we have weathered this before. We're at the record high, but we did weather $5 a gallon already. 15, 20 years ago.
I hope it goes back down, but
it's not going to be it's not going
A
to work.
quick- it's
You
not-
cannot keep it at this level, especially diesel at like $6 a gallon. That's going to send everything sky high, because
Well-
then the other companies that are shipping around
shipping
the
costs
country,
are outrageous
Exactly.
right now.
Yep.
so that's
They've
going to
tripled.
yeah, it's not sustainable.
No, and electric is not the answer either, as you were saying earlier. We're not ready for it, and the companies know it too. And as long as they can hide under that shroud, they're going to use that to be their reasoning. They're going to use the government and all these regulations and stuff to be their reasoning, and they're going to use the pipelines reasoning. It's the company's fault. Period.
Well, if you were a big company and you had somebody that was an easy scapegoat, and you could
Mhm.
make billions of dollars, when you know no one's going to even look at you, you're telling me you wouldn't take that? Not that
Yeah,
it's
but-
right or not, but if
Oh,
you
I
can
know.
make
I
a quick,
agree.
if you can make quick millions in a few months because you're going to just
not
jack
about
your
millions.
prices up and they're going to
It's
blame
about-
someone else.
Billions.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. They don't need to be making the billions, but they want to, especially
No, they don't.
because, well, a lot of these corporations deal worldwide. It's constant money flow for them. It's ridiculous, and it is a need. People talk about the big lie. The big lie should be the gas companies. They have convinced you that the problem lies everywhere but them. Jacqueline says mini cars, scooters, and some guy pulling you in a cart. I would love to go back to horse-drawn carriage. Like personally, if we could.
And also, it's a lot of these corporations don't necessarily. It's not all American corporations. You have all
No.
of these people that are from these other countries. Why
Well, they're
would they
doubling
give a
up on their
fuck
profit.
about how another country is handling.
They are
them
literally
price
buying from themselves.
Yeah.
You know, through different countries. That's what they're doing. So they're profiting on both sides of this. And that's to do. But the economy sucks. I went to, as far as this goes, I went to BD's Mongolian Barbecue. It used to be one of my favorite places. And it still was. And last I went was just before, probably just before everything was shut down, pandemic. So 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And it was $15.99 for the meal, plus a drink. Everything was included. I went 2 weeks ago. It was $25.99. They took away items. You can't get tortillas with your meal or anything like that anymore. And this is the problem. I talked about Big Boy that I did this
How
to
much?
as well. $25.99.
For the unlimited or for one bowl?
Unlimited is 20. It's 20 for the one. That's still $8 or $7
Jesus.
more, and $9 more on a part of it. And they took items away. And this is where our economy is taking the hit. Not just a restaurant. This is what people, manufacturers and companies are doing. They are taking more items away because they're not just trying to extend their profits. They're trying, like Gabe said, to recoup profits.
And they're making it smaller and charging more.
A lot of manufacturers now, I think I texted you something similar, yeah. Like, you'll buy a bag of Frito-Lays or anything right now, a lot of companies are doing what they're calling shrinkflation. And if you're unfamiliar with shrinkflation, it means they're going to sell you the product at a lesser upped price, but the quantity and quality that you get inside that product is lower.
Yeah.
A lot of products we're used to be able to buy a 10-ounce bag of chips are now 7 ounces. The bag's the same size, but they're
that
giving
little
you less.
plastic bubble at the bottom of these
So-
things. They just keeps going
Well,
higher
my thing
and
was
higher.
Munchos. My thing was Munchos, and it was 99 cents all the time, and now it's $1.29, and it's an ounce and a half less. My other thing was, and it pisses me off because
Yes, indeed.
Yes, I agree. Infinity War and Reset, 100%.
See ya.
gosh, never should have told them to come on here for a show.
I'm so glad they
Um,
did.
But my thing is that so CVS in Hazel Park was the best place to buy the cheapest and best milk that you could buy. It was Country Fresh, and like I said, it was $2.69. CVS milk right now is $6.79 a gallon.
Walmart was $4.50
See,
for a
this is
gallon
so
for
expensive.
Walmart, which
They
is
do no
usually
different.
cheap.
The only thing you can do now is you get Kroger milk when it's on sale, and Kroger milk, I would not feed it to my cat if
I
she
love
needed
Kroger
milk.
milk.
And
Kroger milk's
yeah,
fine.
well, you're on your own. And then the other one is my family milk, which you can take that home and let it sit for 3 days, and it'll fucking curdle.
I'm glad you had the same thought I did, Keith.
It
My family milk.
like holy fucking shit.
Oh boy.
I don't think he meant it that way. I was like,
It's the brand. Shut up.
I'm not going to buy the brand Bill's Family Milk.
Yep, nope. Nope, not
It's
looking for
called
Bill's family milk.
My family
And you're
milk
complaining about
is in the
Kroger milk?
car, so.
Yeah, your milk only lasts 3 days?
And Kroger has the best chocolate milk, by the way.
Yes.
They have the best
What do you
chocolate
have,
milk.
Gulp? Oh gosh.
It's oh god, it's moist and full of vitamin D.
Oh,
Please, let's not go into another candle conversation.
Hang on. All right, we're gonna stop and go here. I have gay friends. Drink your drink.
I love how this turned into a drinking game.
And we're gonna go into. We have a new thing where you have to drink. You suck, so drink.
Nope, I'm not doing that one.
I didn't think so.
So, it's well,
What
everybody
am I? I'm
try to
missing
get
rules here.
yeah. If gay or if Bill mentions his gay friends or the sex show, and there was one other thing, we have to drink.
I see.
Yeah, that's the rule. We're talking about the economy, and the thing we got to do, we got to put the blame where it belongs. I'm sorry, no matter who you agree with, if Trump was in office, gas prices would still be this high. Okay?
Yes.
If no matter who was in office, it doesn't matter. If somebody else was in office, gas prices would have lowered. The economy would have still gone up. What hurt us was COVID and companies taking advantage of it. All the things
Well,
put into
and
play during
just-
both
And
administrations.
$3 trillion
Printing-
going.
Yeah,
through.
and just printing money like it was.
Well, I
no
said
big
all
deal.
the all the implementations they did during both administrations,
Yeah.
everything they did, all the money said, all the money that was lost, all the benefits they gave companies for closing and reporting losses. You know, that's why we didn't have
so
workers we
much.
wanted.
So many people took advantage of that. I wish I could have.
The blame does
I
not.
should've just
In this case, government may
sorted the paper
suck.
out and-
Government sucks, but the blame doesn't lie there with either administration. You cannot blame Trump. You cannot blame Biden on this. It is the companies. They are doing this to you, and we're following through with it. And if unless you boycott them, which is America, we're not going to do. We can say it all we want. We can stage a gas out day or something. That shit doesn't work because there's just more to sell tomorrow, and you're going to need gas.
Yeah.
But again, it goes down to the fact that your choices are getting smaller and smaller. You have your national large chains that are becoming the only options for certain cities and things like that, like your Walmarts and stuff like that, who are getting all of their product, and you know they're the ones that are making all the profit for it. But that's where the supply chain stops. So you know you don't have your mom and pop shops anymore because they're sending all of them out of business, and you don't have the suppliers that supply mom and pop shops because now all of your your goods and things like that are from a handful of companies across the country, and they handle distribution for all of them. You know, so your
So prices
choices
going up
are
is
going
one thing.
away.
Yeah, and prices going up are one thing. I get the prices are going up, but they're overinflating these prices. And they're using
Absolutely.
every excuse in the book. One was minimum wage. Minimum wage never fucking went up to that $15 an hour, but everybody's acting like it did or will, so we better cover it now. And
Yeah.
COVID
Well-
taught these companies as well that we need to value our employees, so we got to pay them more because we're realizing what happens when employees are giving an alternative, sad enough, unemployment or the benefits provided through COVID. But they realize these people are not going to come back to work for us when they start to realize their worth, so they have to raise it too. But
Well,
you're not
that essentially
just...
was a raise of minimum wage without actually raising minimum wage. I mean,
Yeah.
you drive around, there are not many places hiring for less than $12, $13 an hour.
Right.
It's just you don't see it anymore because they realize they're not going to find anyone for that.
Yeah.
No, and so you got to raise a little price to cover that. That's understandable, but you're killing your employees as well because we talked before 2 years ago about how the cost of living versus the rate of pay did not match at all, and that's doubled in this period. Even though we've raised prices, cost of living is extreme because it's a snowball effect. The best we can do is try to weather and do the right things because there's nothing we can do to change it. We can't blame somebody. No government's going to step in and say, boom, we're good. Boom, I'm taking it back down. None of that. We have to weather through it, but we have to blame the companies. And you know what? Maybe it will do us some good to say, let's eat at home and let's not support some of these companies and let's start going to the farmers market to get our vegetables, or let's start going to certain locally sourced and owned butcher shops to get our meats. Let's start supporting these small companies and show the big companies that we are not going to stand for this. And that's the only thing we can do. As a whole, it's not likely to happen. But if you want to be part of that change, it's going, that's where it's going to come from.
Well, there's going to be a point with inflation too, where these farmers markets and things like that are going to be able to actively compete with the big store chains because they can afford to sell it at exactly the same price because the other chains are going to keep raising their prices.
And that's why something's got to be done to help moderate the direction of the chains. And if you keep buying from these smaller places will be able to actually start competing with these local stores because they'll be doing that kind of business. Now, the bad thing about that is then these places become bigger and eventually they become these chains and a lot more. So we end up paying a lot. But the economy it is so hard to live right now, even for me. I'm spending $150 a week in gas myself.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous amounts. I have a 25-gallon tank, true, but that's still twice what I was paying before, if not more. But it's not but we don't have to drive everywhere. We don't have to constantly go these places. There are things you can do to help offset it for yourself. If you need to. You got to drive to work. You got to drive home. And people will bitch, I can't afford to go to work. I can't afford to go to work. Hey, look, I took a sudden trip to Florida. Hey, look, I drove down here and did all this.
Yeah.
You're not bitching about the gas prices there.
Yeah.
Because it's free. Because it's for you. There are things we can do. And maybe we'll have to change our budgets a little bit. And it's a sad truth. We've got to budget things differently. One of the big mistakes people made was they got free money from the government during this whole COVID thing.
I mean,
they saw it as free money, not help. Amazon stock went through the fucking roof because of this. Everybody bought and ordered and blew it on shit they didn't need.
Everybody bought Bitcoin.
And that
Dogecoin.
I like Dogecoin. I like that way better. I was like, but that's what they did. They took that free money. They didn't save it. They didn't try to, because they spent it, they caused all the stocks to go up because they frivolously spent it in these companies. Other companies are going to compete with that. They no longer have the money. They didn't save anything and put it away, so they can still take advantage of people. The other companies can't.
But what is $1,200?
I mean, they didn't give us enough, but the fact that they gave us so little would have been more reason to try to hang on to it.
Yeah, the whole thing was silly.
Like
Nobody's going to say no.
I said from the beginning they shouldn't. The government should add a program. Snapshot us your electric bill, we'll pay it. Snapshot us your mortgage bill, we'll pay it. Snapshot us this, we'll pay it. Or something like that. Or we'll cover your mortgage bills. Or we'll do something. That would have been the smart move instead of giving everybody this frivolous money.
But then
Make it so people could survive.
But then you're going to have clear favoritism. And someone is going to pay a $50,000 mortgage over here versus, a $12,000.
Well, yeah, and I know right now everybody sees the government as a very fair institution. So that would definitely, hurt their views.
Yeah.
But everybody in the country would be playing zero on the necessities of life. Mortgage, car, gas, electricity.
Well, and you figure, so we got them couple checks or whatever that was, I don't think that was anything necessary, but we also got $600 a week unemployment.
Yeah.
from the federal government. $600 every week.
That's what was unfair for people, because you had people still working in the industry that couldn't qualify for that. You had a lot of
And
people that couldn't.
and
That was where the unfairness came from.
and you had people that hadn't worked in a while and couldn't qualify for that.
Yeah. Atlanta says, what I found funny is that premium fast food restaurants are less expensive than crap chains. It costs a fortune to eat at McDonald's. True, it actually costs more to grocery shop for meals right now. I went and just a week or two before Memorial Day, I did my first barbecue of the year, and I went and I bought hamburgers for 8 people. There was 8 people that were there, so we bought it for all. I spent nearly $200 on those
Yeah.
for hamburgers with chips and stuff, but you know, something that would have cost me $60 before, I could have ordered from frickin' Red Robin and fed everybody cheaper.
I'm
Well,
down
shit,
here in
I can
Hazel
get-
Park, and I've got cows. Call me next time, Keith. I'll bring you one up there. And
Okay, I'm not buying any of the milk though.
Like right there on the patio.
What were you gonna say, Anthony?
I just got McDonald's. It was $11.50 for a double quarter pounder meal, large.
Yeah,
And that's cheaper than me going to get hamburger meat and making my own hamburgers.
it used to
And-
be fast food was more expensive, and it's not.
well, it's hilarious, but too, because the fast food restaurants don't send out so much coupons anymore, what they used to. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Connie says government gave people money to try to keep them in check. That is a view on it. I'm not sure how much I agree with that view, but I do partly agree with that view. It's the government.
No, I definitely, it's then your government's your hero to a lot of people, for sure.
I believe
Everybody's
the
like,
government-
Oh well, they're not too bad. They gave me $1,200.
They tried to look good more than help.
yeah.
It pacifies.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's what they did to
uprising.
try to make it better and shit, and that's why she's thinking that way and stuff. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree then. I agree with that then. And but they weren't, I don't think, trying to help as much as look good. I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time, any of
no,
these
they weren't
big
trying to help.
payments
They
or
were
anything
trying to
came out
make themselves look good. Yeah.
came
Well, the-
before a major political event.
The unemployment is what made everybody happy.
That's what made it really bad. It made it
Holy
beneficial
shit.
to not work.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
for
was,
sure.
in my eyes, that's what raised the quote-unquote minimum wage.
Mhm.
Yeah, it did.
Right? Well,
That's
we
what I
can't
said.
Raise minimum wage. We're going to give people $600 a week on top of their unemployment to not work. All they have to do is say they're looking, or say the pandemic stopped their job,
Mhm.
and they're going to make a shit ton more money than they would in a minimum wage job. So then, there was a while where I would see $500 signing bonuses at the McDonald's and Burger King by my house. $15 an hour with a $500 signing bonus to start
Well, at the
at
beginning,
a fast food chain, right? Like that's a lot of money to be working in fast food.
but at the
So you
beginning,
had,
wasn't it like $30, like
Yeah.
the equivalent of making $30 an hour?
Yeah.
Unemployment.
Yeah,
It's like
it was.
You had a lot of people that applied for unemployment that had not worked in years, and they did not actually have the ability they shouldn't have to get employment. And the government approved it, right, for a certain amount of weeks or whatever it was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they would send them a letter and say, I'm sorry, we approved your unemployment and we gave you this money. But then the government didn't say you have to give it back. They said it was our fault, so we're not going to charge you for anything. Don't worry about it. And gave it to the millions and millions of Americans across the United States.
And in a sense, it did the one good thing. I still back up with it, though. It did make these companies say, hey, we should have taken care of our employees a long time ago, before it took this to do it. Because then our employees wouldn't have been so drawn to this. They wouldn't quit. They wouldn't be able to call the shots on us, which they're doing. And it
But
has-
people also are, now that they got a taste of home life and working from home, none of them wanna
Fuck
go
that. I
back.
want to get the hell out. I want to work. I want to
But
be out
many-
there.
That's you though.
Many
A lot of
don't.
people don't.
No,
and a
I
lot
know.
of
I'm just
people
talking about
started-
me.
Yeah.
A lot of people started side hustles and shit too, where they're making more money working from home than they were working at a job elsewhere, and so they just never went back to work. Companies, they're working for themselves.
Thrasher says, if I leaned into my recent diabetes diagnosis, I'd probably be saving a ton. I'm right there with you. I just got my recent one, so I am right there on the side with you on that. I would. He says, if we all lean into this, it might actually cure the obesity epidemic, which we definitely have in this country. I'm definitely one of them, but everybody is. I mean, so many people are. And it's because we do. I used to argue, even on this show, about these places staying closed because they couldn't get the job. Like, you have the employees, you don't want them. You want the kickbacks from the government for all this shit because you're not making the money and have to close and they're going to keep you alive. And now I'm thinking in my head, maybe we should have let these big companies fucking close. Instead of bringing them back into the power that they have, as Gabe said, with such limited selection of what we want. So few companies out there. And we brought them right back into power where they're calling shots. And they can do whatever they want because we took them back there. Those companies should have fucking closed down. We had too many anyway.
But we also made the corporations that benefit most from producing the least amount of choices possible substantially richer through the pandemic. The ones that profited the most are the ones that are taking the most choice away.
Yeah. Well, the ones I'm talking about to close down are the big chains, like, certain McDonald's and Del Tacos and stuff like that. Like, you grew too big too fast anyway, fuck you, close down. We shouldn't have cared so much. And we did.
But Del Taco should be saved.
Yeah, I'm still pissed about that. They finally are open till 3 here, so I'm happy. Jacqueline says there are plenty of jobs out there. People get to work. They say unemployment is at a great low right now, which is true, but the way they calculate unemployment is not quite the same on there. But there are plenty of jobs. People can't complain anymore not being able to work. There's plenty of jobs out there. The thing is, because all these companies are hiring for $15, $17, $18 an hour plus, people aren't taking these small jobs. They don't want it. They feel they're better than that. And yeah, you know what? They are better than that, but you need to work. We should have been better than that before pandemic hit. We should have been better than that before government checks hit. We should have been better than that a long time ago. These companies should have said, hey, you've been with us a long time. Anthony, I know you fought this. I fight this daily still. I talked about in my career, no more money. And Gabe, I'm sure you have, and everybody else, that we work all this time. We were never given the recognition that we deserved. We were never given the raises we deserved to keep up with the economy, to the point that new hires made more money than we did. Mm-hmm. And we had been there for 10, 20 years. I literally have to. If minimum wage goes to $15 an hour with what I pay for my DJs, they will make minimum wage. And the sad thing is I used to pay well above minimum wage, but I can't charge anymore for my services for my job or anything like that.
Because you can't get it from the places where you work. So.
Right. Because everybody's doing the same thing, and I don't want to pay my employees minimum wage. The job they do is very important, a taxing job for sure. It's a very taxing job. They deserve more money. And you just can't pay it. And I'm starting to, and I'm going to do what a lot of these companies should do, and I've already done it in some cases. I pay my employees more and I take the hit. These companies out there need to take the fucking hit. A lot of these companies are starting over from the beginning again. First 2 years of business, the rule is what? Everybody pretty much knows this. You lose money for the first 2 years in your business. Well, your business started again pretty much from scratch after closing so long. You're going to have to take a loss to get your profits back.
So, Keith, the bars that you work at,
Yeah.
have they raised their prices on their drinks?
Oh, yeah. That's drinks, food. I've pushed it. Trust me, Bill. I've pushed it.
So I'll get the girls to come here, and we'll come up there and talk to your bosses. So
I don't have any bosses. They're clients.
well, they'll talk to them. So he said one of the girls thought that Anthony was small, so you know where it's going. So.
Oh, stature-wise, yeah. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot of things we're going to have to weather and get through. This is affecting everybody. And we're going to have to end the show because I have to get to work. Of course, you know how that works.
Of course.
So we're going to have to, but there's a lot of things people are going through.
You're always late everywhere, so it doesn't matter. So yeah.
The problem is the big companies are affecting the little guys that they need to make them the big companies. They're the ones getting the short end. You may be raising it so you can pay your employees, but you're hurting everybody else who has to live.
Well, and ultimately, the sad thing is they're raising it so they can pay themselves.
Exactly.
and they're
Yes.
using the employees as an excuse.
Yeah.
And all
Oh,
of-
well, we had to give our employees a $2 an hour raise, so we have to raise prices, but their shareholders are getting exponentially more than $2 an hour.
I still think it would be a great government plan that you had to pay your your total cost of payroll has to be a percentage of your profit. Has to meet a percentage of your profit, regardless. If your profits go to a certain level, your payroll must match that percentage or be greater. I think that should be required in all companies.
Or just profit sharing in general.
Yeah, it's accomplished pretty much generally the same thing. Yeah, but there should be
50%
some
your
kind of
profits
mandate
for
with
the year
companies.
should be divvied up equally between all employees. Or
Your
whatever
employees
the
make it.
percentage is, right?
You sit in a chair, your employees make that money. Whether they're in the corporate office or whether they're down on the main floor or in the restaurant itself or wherever it happens to be, they're making you that money. They deserve it. Anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. I know this was, pretty much about how much shit sucked lately, which it really has, but we're still here, and that's something to be happy about. We still have friends, we still have people. Anthony's ready for bed, I can tell that right now. So, I am too, but I'm going to go to work instead. So I want to thank everybody for being on here. There's no after show. I'm going to get ready and head out. So thank you, Bill, for being on here. Absolutely fantastic. Love having you. You are amazing. As always, glad you showed up. You all scared me because I opened the show with just me. I was like,
Surprise!
Yay.
I got through the first topic on my own. Gabe, absolutely glad to have you back on some of these shows because you were missed a lot. Elena, thank you very much for that. She says, great show tonight, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's hard
We
stuff
should
to
be
talk
on.
about that we always do, and I wish people could push blame where it belongs. Stop using your scapegoat of government and the other people's who they elected. Obviously, it
Elysium.
sucked both times. Yeah, Elysium. There's a lot to that movie that could apply. Anthony, glad you made it. Didn't think you were going to. You scared me, but I'm happy you were here. So thank you again for joining us on this open forum. It's been fantastic. This has been, of course, our open forum show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, to follow the Ear Shoulder Voice on Meta, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're on all those. Reach out if you want. You can do it via our website, or you can do it through the Facebook or Meta page. Right there, you can talk to us via our website. You can do it anonymously if you want to, and we'll always be there to try to respond to you and talk back to you. Any issue you're having, we don't care how deep it is. Just feel free. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. Coming up on our next topic is everybody shoot. I said we're holding off gun control because we're going to be talking guns on Wednesday. That's right. With all the school shootings and the mass murders that have occurred recently, mass shootings in general, we are the highest rate of mass shootings in the country, and we definitely want to talk about that and how we feel about it. It's not about the political sides on there. It's how we feel, what we as individuals think should be done, not what the politicians want to tell us should be done. And we're definitely going to have varied opinions on that. We look forward to having you on there. And no, that's about it. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, well, fuck it. We'll do it on the next show. All right. So you guys have a great night. Thank you again for being here, and we will see you Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.
When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go, and here's the key. Be you, yeah, only you. Oh,
Okay, so I lied. There's kind of an after show here.
Ooh.
Well,
Anthony
it said
looks
it.
like he's in a goatee.
I know it looked
video
really cool from the little views I saw.
for a minute.
We're only here for a second, but I thought we had to do something, because people were still here. You were all still in the chat, and I got people still viewing the show. I'm like, fuck it, I'll come back for no fucking reason at all. Because I love
He's always
everybody.
late going somewhere, so.
Yeah, too bad Bill had to go. So good show. Glad you guys popped on. You were definitely
sure.
the crew I was hoping to have. I was hoping to have Elaine on here too, but yeah.
Well, she
It was
was.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
She definitely had a good night last night, so it was a good time. So
Excellent.
thank you. I miss you, Gabe. You gonna be more regular now?
I'm trying to. I'm eating more fiber.
That's why I was gonna say that in return. Damn you! I was gonna say eat more fiber.
When I can. Like next week I can't because I'm going somewhere. But I did have a question. Like, where's that music from on the end of that?
The BU.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Epidemic Sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
It's licensed. I love that end tune. That's my favorite. I don't even know if I'm ever gonna want to change it. It's chopped up a little bit and edited, but yeah, I think it fits for it. Yeah, Epidemic Sound. There's your plug. Great. You want royalty-free licensed music? You can get it from Epidemic Sound for a low monthly fee. Go there. Big Fig mattresses. They're amazing on there. Yes, Big Fig for all your big, heavy, fat people mattress needs.
Start